nui moi moia, poa nui moi moia, poa nui moi moia.
Jazz and samba, the jazz and samba, jazz and samba, the jazz and samba, jazz and samba, the jazz and samba. Hear it all around.
Catch me up, early morning rise, changing underwater mind, mindful of the trauma, ties to a wider spectrum. She feel it that I'm not only living, I'm giving, guessing to the certain it was over for the little time spent in this mission, where it's this hand or the other. No, I'm buttering my bread bought by no other than my damn self. Stand out, answering my call, cause it's either be the reason I win or be more and more like these yes men. I suggest you settle for a man with his own thoughts who walks forward, can't understand why these other options found. Sounds to me you got the raw deal, need that all-wheel drive, because life's just that downhill bomb, you don't survive. Serve the first person, might just find yourself a nice little hum under the bonnet. Come on girl, let's glide. I love the sun, the funk, the gold, the glitter, don't get me started. Finding my feet, freeing the rest of me, big target, even bigger reward. Pre-rolled so we soar, and coming never catch me skimming off the top like kneeboards. We keep it even till we over and out.
Hey babe, hold the way, make it boom, 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 go and sway. But girl, don't stop, don't stray. The love, the sun, the funk, the gold, to get it all on. Pasito pa'lante, pasito pa' atrás. La vida es así como un baile nomás. A veces avanzamos y otra vez se nos da bailar. Bye, 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 dice Candela. Pásame la vela pa' prender la hierba, para verte pasar y ponerme a contar las veces que te he visto en el mismo lugar. No pare, no pare, no pare de gozar. Con este tumba papi te pongo pa' dar, ey. Carotica que viene y que samba al pasar. Don't stop. Carotica que viene y que samba al pasar. Don't stop.
Hello and welcome to Sheldopedia. I'm Sheldon Betteridge here. On today's show, we're going to talk more about the Trump and the historic impeachment charges. That is more coming up after I play Driver's License by Olivia Rodrigo on Sheldopedia on Arrow FM.
Got my driver's license last week, just like we always talked about. Cause you were so excited for me to finally drive up to your house. But today I drove through the suburbs crying cause you weren't around. And you're probably with that blonde girl who always made me doubt. She's so much older than me, she's everything I'm insecure about. Yet today I drove through the suburbs, cause how could I ever love someone else? And I know we weren't perfect, but I've never felt this way for no one. And I just can't imagine how you could be so okay now that I'm gone. Guess you didn't mean what you wrote in that song about me. Cause you said forever, now I drive alone past your street. And all my friends are tired of hearing how much I miss you, but I kinda feel sorry for them, cause they'll never know you the way that I do. Yet today I drove through the suburbs and pictured I was driving home to you. And I know we weren't perfect, but I've never said forever, now I drive alone past your street. Red lights, stop signs, I still see your face in the white cars, front yards. Can't drive past the places we used to go to, 'cause I still fucking love you, babe. Sidewalks we crossed, I still hear your voice in the traffic. We're laughing over all the noise. God, I'm so blue, no we're through, but I still fucking love you, babe. I know we weren't perfect, but I've never felt this way for no one. And I just can't imagine how you could be so okay now that I'm gone. 'Cause you didn't mean what you wrote in that song about me. 'Cause you said forever, now I drive alone past your street. Yeah, you said forever, now I drive alone past your street.
That was driver's license by Olivia Rodrigo on Sheldopedia on Arrow FM. The track just broke Spotify records, even in clips and upgrades to Thank You Next tracks, Thank You Next, and 7 Rings. Looks set to make a big impact on the charts worldwide. This week. Donald Trump faces trial in the Senate after becoming the first US president to be charged with misconduct in office for the second time. Mr. Trump is accused of inciting a mob that stormed Congress last week after he repeated false claims of election fraud. 5 people died. The trial will be held after the president leaves office next Wednesday. If Mr. Trump is convicted, the Senate will also vote to bar him from ever holding public office again. The trial follows Wednesday's votes in the House of Representatives that formally charged or impeached the president with incitement of insurrection for his role in a riot. The Republican president has rejected responsibility for the violence in the video released by the White House after the vote. He called on his supporters to remain peaceful without mentioning his impeachment. The FBI has warned of possible armed protests planned for Washington, D.C. and all 50 U.S. state capitals in the days before Joe Biden, a Democrat, is inaugurated as the new U.S. president. So what happens next? The Senate, upper house of U.S. Congress, will hold a trial to do a president's guilt, but this will not happen during Mr. Trump's remaining week in office. Republican Senate Leader Mitch McConnell said there is simply no chance that a fair or serious trial could conclude given the rules, procedures and Senate precedents that govern trial can follow. The govern trials involving presidents. Structured violence and violence have no place in our country.
The very heart of our republic. It angered and appalled millions of Americans across the political spectrum. I want to be very clear. I unequivocally condemn the violence that we saw last week. Violence and vandalism have absolutely no place in our country and no place in our movement. Mob violence goes against everything I believe in and everything our movement stands for. No true supporter of mine could ever struck at the very heart of our republic. It angered and appalled millions of Americans across the political spectrum. I want to be very clear. I unequivocally condemn the violence that we saw last week. Violence and vandalism have absolutely no place in our country and no place in our movement. Mob violence goes against everything I believe in and everything our movement stands for. No true supporter of mine could ever endorse political violence. No true supporter of mine could ever disrespect law enforcement or our great American flag. No true supporter of mine could ever threaten or harass their fellow Americans. If you do any of these things, you are not supporting our movement, you are attacking it, and you are attacking our country. There has been reporting that additional demonstrations are being planned in the coming days, both here in Washington and across the country. I have been briefed by the U.S. Secret Service on the potential threats. Every American deserves to have their voice heard in a respectful and peaceful way. That is your First Amendment right. But I cannot emphasize that there must be no violence, no law breaking, and no vandalism of any kind. These are tense and difficult times. The efforts to censor, cancel, and blacklist our fellow citizens are wrong, and they are dangerous. What is needed now is for us to listen to one another, not to silence one another. All of us can choose by our actions to rise above the rancor and find common ground and shared purpose. Let us choose to move forward united for the good of our families, our communities, and our country. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Two thirds of majority will be needed to convince Mr. Trump, meaning at least 17 Republicans will have to fight with the Democrats and evenly split 100-seat chamber. As many as 20 Republicans are open to convicting the president, the New York Times reported on Tuesday in a note to colleges Mr. McConnell said he has not made a final decision on how he would vote if Mr. Trump is convicted. Senators could then hold another vote for block him to run for elected office again, which he indicated he planned to do in 2024. Mr. Trump was impeached by the House in 2019 over his dealings with Ukraine, but acquitted by the Senate. Impeachment, but basically what is impeachment? Impeachment is a city president charged with crimes. In this case, President Trump was charged with inciting insurrection by encouraging supporters to storm the Capitol. Could Trump be removed from office? House of Representatives have impeached him, but moving a case to the Senate for a trial. But a trial will not be carried out before Mr. Trump leaves office on 20th of January. So, what does it mean? A trial can happen after his term ends and senators could vote to bar him from holding public office again. What was Trump charged with? Impeachment charges are political, not criminal. The president is accused by the House of inciting storming of the Capitol, a seat of U.S. Congress, with speech on 6th of January to supporters outside the White House. He issued for peacefully and periodically to make their voices heard, but also fight like hell against an alleged he falsely told them had been stolen. Following Mr. Trump's remarks, his supporters breaking the Capitol forced lawmakers to suspend certification of election results and take shadow while the blood was placed in lockdown. The other patients later here, Mr. Trump repeatedly issued false statements asserting that his presidential election results were fraudulent and should not be accepted. It says then repeated these guys and willfully make statements for a crowd that enforce foreseeable result of laws action at the Capitol, leading to violence and loss of life. President Trump gravely endanger the security of the United States and its institutions of government, threatening the integrity of a democratic system, interfere with a peaceful transition of power in pre-critical branch of government. Donald Trump has made history once again, as the first president to be impeached twice. A year ago, the move was opposed in the lockstep Republican Party. This time, for conservatives backed the move as a reflection not only of the gravity of the movement, but also a president's declining influence in the final days of his administration. Impeachment sets up Senate trial for Mr. Trump, finding now appears to do so to stretch into the early days of Joe Biden's presidency, creating yet another charge for the incoming president. It will be a start for ongoing debate among Republicans over directed their party takes the days ahead. The party is on a path that splits two very different directions. One side has continued allegiance to a president brands of politics, one has created a new coalition of voters that delivered for White House and Congress in 2016 but lost both in 2020. On the other is an uncertain future, but one free from president's unique style of hate and rhetoric, unfiltered incentive that even many Republicans now believe contributed to last week's Capitol riot. What happened if a House vote for two House members of a Democratic-controlled House made statements against a vote on impeachment while National Guard troops kept the Washington side and outside the Capitol? House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said the President of the United States incited the insurrection for disarmed rebellion against our common country. He must go. Here's a clear and present danger to the nation that we all love. How the Republicans defeated Trump, who voted to impeach?
Or that the President lit the flame. Well, they lit actual flames.
Some say the riots were caused by Antifa. There is absolutely no evidence of that.
For instead of stopping the Trump train, his movement will grow stronger, for you will have made him a martyr.
The President of the United States deserves universal condemnation for what was clearly, in my opinion, impeachable conduct.
Which brings me to today's debate. I believe impeaching the president in such a short time frame would be a mistake.
His open and public pressure, courageously rejected by the Vice President, purposely seeded the false belief among the President's supporters, including those assembled on January 6th, that there was a legal path with the President. It was foreseeable and reckless to sow such a false belief that could lead to violence and rioting by loyal supporters whipped into a frenzy. Unfortunately, my Democratic colleagues drafted articles that I believe are flawed and unsupportable.
This is a sad day in our republic, but not as sad or disheartening as the violence we witnessed in the Capitol last Wednesday. We are all responsible. My colleagues are responsible for not condemning rioters this past year like those who barricaded the doors of the Seattle Police Department and attempted to murder the officers inside. Others, including myself, are responsible for not speaking out sooner, before the president misinformed and inflamed a violent mob who tore down the American flag and brutally beat Capitol police officers. Last week there was a domestic threat at the door of the Capitol, and he did nothing to stop it. That is why, with a heavy heart and clear resolve, I will vote yes on these articles of impeachment.
If we want unity, this is not the way. America was and is the leading light in the world. This proceeding has continued to cloak our nation in darkness.
But here is what a vote to impeach would do. A vote to impeach would further divide this nation.
Most Republicans do not seek to defend mistrust. We are against it. Aggravated picture by bipartisan customer hearings and calling on Democrats to drop the sake of national unity. Impeaching the president in such a short time frame would be a mistake. Kevin McCarthy with a House top Republican. That does mean that presidents, 3 for 4 presidents, be responsibility for Wednesday's attack on Congress by mob rioters. Mr. Trump was impeached by 230 to 297, with 10 Republicans alongside with Democrats. Along them, the third-ranking House Republican Liz Cheney, the daughter of a former Vice President Dick Cheney. Well, with somber and conciliatory tone, Mr. Trump said in this video, "Other fight violence and vandalism have no place in our country. No true support of mine would even endorse political violence." Mr. Biden said he hopes this would not neglect but other usual businesses of the nation, such as improving his cabinet nominees' coronavirus relief and nationwide vaccination program. With Trump doing a bad job of handling COVID-19, no wonder why Trump let us nearly 100,000 people die from COVID-19 and over 20 million cases. Next song it will be Save Your Tears by the Weekend on Sheldopedia on Arrow FM.
I saw you dancing in a crowded room. You look so happy when I'm not with you, but then you saw me, caught you by surprise. A single teardrop falling from your eye. I don't know why I run away.
That was Save Your Teeth by the Weekend on Sheldopedia on RAFE. So a video that Donald Trump becomes the first president to be impeached twice.
2. The nays are 197. The resolution is adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table. Congratulations.
And there you have it. The gavel comes down. The motion has been adopted. Donald Trump has been impeached.
See, Donald Trump become a... because no other president have ever done this before. Even Andrew Gar... Look... there's only three impeachments. Now Donald Trump first and the second time. That is followed by Bill Clinton and Andrew Johnson. After we're going to play we're gonna play a track from Return of a Mac. There was Return of a Mic by Mark Morrison on Sheldopedia on Arrow FM. Something less eventful here in New Zealand. The Council of Civil Liberties challenged by a claim by former National Party leader Simon Bridges that people should have total freedom of expression on Twitter. For opponents of free speech are concerned at Trump's abrupt suspension of tens of thousands of accounts on recent days which now reached New Zealand. They say many of these accounts were allowed to flourish for years and the sort of change in approach has not been fairly applied. But Twitter says given the fines invested in Washington DC and increased risk of harm, we began to permanently suspend thousands of accounts with decoded Q&A non-content. Last night, Bridges tweeted fast suspension of New Zealand Twitter accounts is an overreaction. It isn't about when everyone agrees with any user was saying. It's about freedom of speech and pushing these underground is more dangerous than letting be out of the open for all to see. But the chief president of the New Zealand Council for Civil Liberties told the Speaker told Moore report that he didn't agree with Bridges' view that harmful ideas should be out in the open because he feels difference between harmful ideas and also harassment and threats of violence. I don't think anyone thinks that we should be able to threaten violence online. I think we do have to look at the ways of suppressing harassment. Because the thing is about freedom of expression, that is not just about what people say, it's also about their ability to go and participate in those discussions. What we have seen in the last few years is that there's actually concerted efforts driven by bots and risks actually to stop certain sorts of people having certain points of view by harassing them into silence. Because it was hard to say if New Zealand Twitter accounts including people flourishing conspiracy theories for far-right ideas should be remain on the platform. While Twitter should have a right to remove some accounts. If it said he would favour more transparency about who they were getting rid and what these people had been saying. That was given a right to appeal because Twitter doesn't actually have a good history of actually making these two good decisions on these matters. While many have been watching the speech on the internet in the last few years and concluding it has gone unexpected directions and also important to consider what consistently people will see in the future now Twitter has made this significant change in the same way we saw with Facebook and their similar pictures of people. Next song I'll be playing is a song from track from 2010 which was the top 10 in Europe, which it is Happiness by Alexis Jordan.
Traffic is making me sick. Boy, I can't wait to have you near. I gotta hurry, hurry, hurry now. Quick, quick, quick. Just step on the gas, cause I don't wanna miss this. This opportunity will only come once in my life. My life. I gotta hurry, hurry, hurry now. Quick, quick, quick. Just step on the gas, cause I don't wanna miss this. See
bringing me, boy, is priceless. I gotta be out of my mind not to try this. Through strength I found love. In time I found myself in happiness with you. Through strength I found love. In time I found myself in happiness with you. Boy, I need to say what's in my heart. I was scared, but I'll do my part. I came back to tell you face to face, so what we have won't go to waste. Gotta hurry, hurry, hurry now. Quick, quick, quick. Just step on the gas, 'cause I don't wanna miss this. This opportunity will only come once in my life. My life, yeah. Sorry, 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 I'm coming down to fix this. You should know how I feel, I know I got you twisted. See what you're bringing me, boy, it's priceless. I gotta be out of my mind not to try this. Through strength I found love. In time I found myself in happiness with you. Through strength I found love. In time I found myself in happiness with you. The things that you can give to me, I can feel it when you're holding me close. You're like one of the world wonders. I know I'm going under. Come see that I'm ready for this. And you're so good for me. You're my true joy. You make me wanna say, through strength I found love. In time I found myself in happiness with you. Through strength I found love. In time I found myself in happiness with you.
That was Happiness by Alexa Jordan on Sheldopedia on RFM. Released in 2010 in a song peaking popularity. Same time 10 years ago. By years ago, top in the charts in Netherlands are top 3 in Australia and the UK and number 8 in New Zealand. The best countries for gender equality. Number 10, Namibia just jumped 3 spots in 1 year. Jamaica top 10 best country for gender equality for the first time, but only other country from sub-Saharan region was to do so is Rwanda. And Namibia has closed nearly 79% of vote for gender gap, which is about 10% more since 2006. A big challenge to the countries has significant parts of women who occupy an parliament seat, which is currently 5th globally. Last year, African receiver Africa General's was progress promoted gender equality, empowering women and promoting women's representatives of positions in power. Number 9, Ireland. Ireland's gender ranking has been slipping since 2016. but remains in the top 2. The country has managed to close more than 69% of its overall gender gap on record saw gender gap in enrollment and primary education by saw an improvement in the estimate income as a share of men's earnings. Both difference between male and female lives is bigger in both an island as it's completely closed like a trader who equal shares of men who and women who attend classes and positions men and women who employed in natural professional and technical occupations were also near equal official EF report. Mumbai for Philippines is a second country from East Asia and Pacific region in the overall top 10, also improving 2 spots from 2017. It has managed to close 8% of its gender gap, the highest fell ever recorded for the Philippines, but better ranking is largely due to improvements in wage equality for similar work and women's estimated earned income gender gaps have been fully closed in legislature and senior official and management positions as well as literacy and college enrollment rates. Number 7, New Zealand. New Zealand has closed 80% of the overall gender pay gap, put in 7th place in the world, but at the top of East Asia and Pacific region. The country rose 2 spots since due to improvements in political empowerment of women. The increasing share of women empowerment has led to New Zealand entering the top 10 countries for gender equality for the first time. Another significant improvement New Zealand has made over the last decade is an attempt to close the gender gap has been education attainment. Nearly equal shares of a male and female population have primary and secondary education, with slightly more women have a college degree. Number 6, Rwanda. At the first class, Rwanda is unlike champions of equal weight, unlike other countries at the top. It is not right. It has turbulent history in its life experience. The birth of 67 years is low compared to developed countries. At 88, Rwanda is one of the highest rates of female labour force participation in the world. In the United States, by contrast, this figure stands at 66. However, our culture is not entirely by choice. It goes back to countries just more than 2 decades ago. When close to 100,000 Rwandans were killed in 3 months as a result, 70% of the country's population were women, so I had to fill all the jobs. Mama 5, Nicaragua has a long way since 2006 when it ranked 62 second out of 114 countries when it comes to gender equality. The Central American country is now one of the 3 nations right next to France and Iceland on its way to completely closing the gender gap. It is forecast to do so within 16 years, fewer than expected 24 years for Iceland. The country's faster progress towards gender equality contributes to its ranking second among the 149 countries in the index political empowerment and first in health and survival measures. Number 4, Finland has a long history of promoting equal rights as the first European country to grant women rights to vote and stamp election in 1906. Organisation working for women's rights were established as early as the 1880s. A situated Finland still leads the way until the country established the first international gender equality prize given a person one organization that have significant impacts advancing gender equality across the world. Number 3, Sweden. Sweden has dropped in the ranking over the last decade when it comes to gender equality, but only slightly fell. They got for being a top in 2016, being number 3 in 2016. One of the global measures used to create a global gender gap index, which women fare particularly well, is ministerial position. More than half of women are in Sweden. However, women are still underrepresented in business. For example, in 2016, over 80% of managers of Swedish companies listed on the stock market were men, and no company had a female boss. Moving to Norway, like Iceland, Norway has a historically considered among the best countries for gender equality. Ranked number 2 back in 2006, number 3 in 2016, and number 2 again in 2018. More women than men work in professional and technical jobs, 52.9%. That job were held by women, one of the most equal ratios among 149 countries in the report. Some focus gender specific actions for countries we take a brand equality are more racial than others, and some focus on men rather than women. For example, employees are allowed to choose a woman over a man for a job which is almost well qualified. Similarly, men can be chosen over women. And likewise, is related to childcare where men are underrepresented. Number 1, Iceland. Iceland has been top of the world's economic forum's global gender gap index for 10th year in a row. The small island index ranks number 1 in several of the measures used to create index, included wage equality for similar work, share of women who work in the professional and technical sectors, and political empowerment. Some argue a path to equality for Icelandic women was started in 1995, where 0% of them went to strike and to demonstrate how this society will be without them. 5 years later, Iceland became the first country in the world to elect a woman as president and become known as the world's most feminist country. Western Europe is leading the way on Samoa's overall gender gap with 32.2% remains to be close. North America 27.5% and Latin America 28.2% are second to third. But for Middle East and South Asia still remains so sexist. Next song I'll be playing for is from it is a track from Naive, which is it is a new song by Howard Jones on Sheldopedia on Arrow FM.
I've been waiting for so long to come and out and say
First new song by Howard Jones on Sheldopedia on Arrow FM. Right now is No Idea for Cool Cars remixed by Don Tove on Sheldopedia on Arrow FM.
Let me get that introduction. We on the long road to self-destruction. You was so in love, you weren't gonna tell me nothing. Let me get this clear, 'cause I had no idea. I feel like I did too much. I feel like I did too much. Let's get naughty. Yeah, I need all y'all. I feel like I did too much. I feel like I did too much. Yeah, let's party. Yeah, I need all y'all. First, let me get that introduction. We on the long road to self-destruction. You was so in love, you weren't gonna tell me nothing. Let me get this clear, 'cause I had no idea. I feel like I did too much. I feel like I did too much. Let's get naughty. Yeah, I need all y'all. I feel like I did too much. I feel like I did too much. Yeah, let's party. Yeah, I need all y'all.
That was No Idea by Cool Cars remixed on Sheldopedia on Arrow FM. Over JK1 with the final chapter of a last Harry Potter book in 1997, years before the release of the first book. Next song, the final song would be Paradise by Medusa.
In the fading light, hearts collide, shadows dance in the distance. Something just ain't right, I'm cold inside. Help me find what I'm missing. We're all scared to fly, still we try. Learn to be brave, see the other side. Won't you lead me there? Have no fear. Close your eyes, find paradise. Oh my, my, my. There's 1,000 miles between you and I. Oh my, my, my. Just 1,000 miles between me and paradise. Oh my, my, my. There's 1,000 miles between you and I. Oh my, my, my. Just 1,000 miles between me and paradise. Miles has gone, the morning's won. We're gonna feel something different. It will set you free if you just tell me every secret I listen. We're all scared to fly, still we try. Learn to be brave, see the other side. Won't you lead me there? Have no fear. Close your eyes, find paradise, paradise, paradise. Close your eyes, find paradise, paradise, paradise. Close your eyes, find Oh my, my, my. There's 1,000 miles between you and I. Oh my, my, my. Just 1,000 miles between me and paradise. Oh my, my, my. Oh my, my, my. Oh my, my, my. 1,000 miles between me and paradise.
About spread over Medusa Duma Kennedy on Sheldopedia on Era FM. Visit for Sheldopedia. I'll see you next Friday. Bye.